What's going on, my eaters? This your boy Chef Drew, aka Chef, aka we got a guest today. I'm so excited to have this guy here with me. But before we get into all of that, please make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things so we can keep on bringing you this content, so we can keep bringing you cool people. And let's go. So in the last video, we started talking about motivators, the things that push you when the hard times come. We talked about knowing your why. This week, we're gonna talk about identifying and knowing who your cheerleaders are. Your cheerleaders, those people that you know are in your life, who build you up, who support you, who encourage you, who tell you not what you want to hear, but know when the hard times have hit and are there to prop you up until that moment or that time passes. For me, I could not talk about this topic without having my homeboy, my brother, my friend, my neighbor. We everything to each other, y'all. Like, we literally live right next door to each other. My brother, John Lasky. What's going on, my dude?
What's up, Chef? What's going on?
You my cheerleader, man. Give us a few minutes. We're gonna talk a little bit with you. And yeah, let's do this. So, John, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, brother. How about you, man?
Good. When I think about you, and I think about you in my life, you may not even know this. I don't think we've ever even really talked about it, but I started my most recent entrepreneurial endeavors over almost 10 years ago. You've been there the whole entire time. You've seen it from pretty much the start till today, and we'll talk some more about that. But when I think about you as an encourager, as a cheerleader in my life, as a supporter, one thing that I always go back to, I remember when I was in that situation with those other business partners, and I had my smoker, and for whatever reason, some bad things happened, and I ended up without my smoker, and I was like, what am I gonna do? Y'all, I was freaking out. I own a barbecue company. I have a smoker, the heart and soul of everything I do, and for reasons out of my control, don't ask too many questions, I ended up without that smoker. Yes, I'm trying to be politically correct right now, so again, don't ask no questions. But I ended up without that smoker, and I remember I was freaking out one day, and I was talking about, John, what do I do? Yeah. X, Y, and Z, I said, yo, you know what? I found another smoker. I'm gonna show them, I'm gonna go finance this smoker. And as a total shock to me, you looked at me in the face and you were like, don't do that, Drew. Don't finance anything. I did not expect him to say this, y'all. Turns out that moment, that decision, I look back at it even today. This was years ago now. I am so grateful that I listened. I don't think you even knew what you were doing or saying at the time. You tell me, do you remember the conversation what I'm talking about?
I remember, yeah, a little bit.
If you can go back there, tell these folks, what was your motivation? Tell me, what was your motivation in telling me, don't go get this smoker, because you knew I needed a smoker. You knew this was my livelihood. You knew intimately how much of a major blow this was to me personally.
I wanted it to be yours, man. What I didn't want you to do is I didn't want to see you covered up in debt. I know you.
Yeah.
You know, I've had the pleasure of knowing you for years now. Like you said, I've seen this thing through a long time. So I know you, and I based on my knowledge and how I know you can react to things.
Yeah.
Like, it's just my intimacy with you, right?
Yeah.
It's our brotherhood that we have.
Yeah.
I knew that you could build something of your own.
Yeah.
And I knew that this was an opportunity for you to build something of your own.
Yeah.
From the ground up.
Yeah.
And it didn't need to be an all at once thing. It didn't need to be, I've got to stay where I'm at. It could be a restart. It could be a rebuild. And I knew you, and I knew you were up for the task.
Well, guys, guess what? He was right. He was right. At the time, let me tell you something honestly. All I wanted was a smoker. The fact of the matter is, if I did not listen to my brother, if I did not take heed to what he had spoken into my life, in that moment, I would have ordered a big brand new shiny penny, shiny quarter smoker, It probably would have cost me $10, $15, $20,000. I'd have been starting this new version of my business with a $20,000 or $30,000 weight attached to my neck. I tell you what, as I sit and think back about that time and what he said, I just know I would have turned into a bear. It would have been a much different transition into rebranding and restarting Pinks if I had saddled myself with this big, huge debt to get this thing started. It would have happened. I still would have paid the bill, but John helped me see why take that on. So, reason to know your cheerleaders, number one, they save you a lot of money. I'm just joking. But they know you and sometimes see you from a perspective that we don't necessarily see when we're in the moment. A few years ago, we were recording. We have a lot of moments in this thing that I'm doing. A few years ago, we were recording some question and answers that we were asking cheerleaders. We asked a couple business partners of mine. And when we were asked you then about Pinks and what you thought about Pinks.
Yeah, so one of the things I appreciate most about Pinks is that it's the sole idea and vision of one man. And this man has a great vision. It's one that he uses a team to help build, but all in all, he gets to call the shots. And let me tell you right now, he calls some good shots. He's got a team built around him, like I said, that help him. But it's phenomenal to watch this guy work.
When I think about that even now, it almost brings tears to my eyes, man. Like, sometimes for me personally, this vision feels so great. This thing that I'm trying to produce feels so great, it could be overwhelming. And when I listen to that clip and when I watch that clip, along with some of the other ones that you said, I had never heard you articulate that to me ever. And I just really remember it struck a chord. It really plucked at my heart. Can you speak to that clip? Can you speak to that sentiment?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this being entrepreneur based, right?
Yeah.
I think as entrepreneurs, you guys kind of go out on these limbs, right? You guys are the risk takers. There's tons of risk in it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we have to trust those limbs that you guys are going out on, right?
Yeah.
Like we've got to buy into that as customers or as supporters or however you're doing it, right?
Yeah.
And so to understand these entrepreneurs, people like you, you're visionaries. You're seeing stuff I don't see.
Yeah.
I go to a 9-to-5 type of thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm part of corporate America.
Right.
I understand the risk that's involved.
Yeah.
And I understand that it's got to be one man's vision.
Yeah.
I understand that these things have got to be, at some point, it comes down to what does he say?
Yeah.
What does Drew say? What does Chef say? Because I also know, I've seen you put in the work, and I know that you're dedicated to putting out a good product, right?
Yeah.
So like I've seen, you mentioned at the beginning, I'm your neighbor, I'm your brother, I'm all those things. So I have that, I know what you're putting out there, and I know what you put into it.
Right, right.
And I see your vision, I get it.
My other business, Pink's Barbecue, I'm doing it full time.
Yep.
Now I got this YouTube channel that we're working on. What else we got going on? I'm in almost 12 farmers markets every single month.
Right.
We got this beautiful kitchen space here now. We just launched the supper club. You've seen this thing from nothing to now it's starting maybe to look like a little bit of something, hopefully. As somebody who has been there fanning the flame, supporting, cheerleading, believing in the jockey, not the horse, for all this time, for you, what does that do for you? What does that evoke in you?
A lot of pride. Look, man, as you said, I've seen you at those low points that come through all entrepreneur endeavors, right? Everybody I know that started a business has had a failed business or will have a failed business, right? Like that's just, it is what it is. And I know you've been through it.
Yeah.
And so I'm able to share in that being proud of you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And understanding what you're trying to build and seeing it come to fruition. Even no matter what it is, even if it's just the building blocks to move on to the next thing, because you're so full of ideas and you're so full of vision that I would never put you in a box. I would never say that it's just Pink's Barbecue or it's just this YouTube channel or it's just this supper club, right?
Yeah.
There's so many more things out there that you can do and that you're capable of and that you're talented in. And so, it gives me all kinds of pride, man.
Yeah.
And love and adoration for sure.
So what John didn't know I was going to bring up today is, you heard him just reference that he is in corporate America. He has a great career. John is a mechanic by trade. He fixes automobiles and anything else, quite honestly. You're also kind of, I think, and have always thought that you're an entrepreneur yourself. You're a different entrepreneur than me. However, y'all, if y'all remember in some of my previous episodes, I've told you that there's different ways to go about this grassroots entrepreneurship. John works a 9-to-5 job. He has a career. That is his consistent income. But I also see you do side work. I've seen a lot of cars in your driveway. You know, you hooking people up on the side. He's hooked me up on the side. Don't ask for my discount. You're also a furniture maker and carpenter and woodworker. As an entrepreneur yourself, you're the side hustle entrepreneur. For you, walking in that lane, that side hustle entrepreneurship lane, why has that been so important to you, one? And two, what would you say out there to the entrepreneur out there who just wants to get started or who is in the same boat as you?
So going back to the first part of the question is why do I do my little side hustle? Why is that important to me? So a few things to that, man. I'm a creator by nature. I'm creative, right? Yep. I love to create things.
Yeah.
Like you said, building furniture, tables, whatever it might be. It's in my nature to do that, and to be able to express that. I also play the drums. I play other musical instruments. I'm a creative person by nature, and so to have that outlet and then to be able to make money on it, that's when I really tie into those things. Now, as far as the cars coming in and out of the driveway, the way that I articulate that now, the way that I've learned to articulate that now is I do it for the sake of fixing the cars. Mm-hmm. I don't do it for the sake of the money. I do charge people money.
Yep.
No free work.
No free work.
I do charge money, but I do it for the sake of fixing cars.
Yeah. Because that's your thing, right?
Because that's my thing. People need help sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Cars need fixing sometimes. And so that's what I do.
You have heard me say time and time again at this point, there's multiple ways to do this thing. You've heard us reference my story. You've heard us reference John's story a little bit. But today, the point of today's video, the point of having John here is to drive home the fact that as entrepreneurs, you need people, you need a team in your corner to push you when you can't push yourself. It's really that simple. This man pushes me. My wife pushes me. My team. Y'all, right now, as I'm filming this, there's a room full of people here helping us bring you this content. My team pushes me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in this room right now, everybody who has helped me with Pinks, everybody who helps me with my farmers markets, we're all sacrificing something. I feel a tremendous burden not to waste any of this time, not to waste any of these resources, because it is valuable, valuable, valuable to have these people, to have these cheerleaders in your corner. These are the people in your lives that believe in you. Y'all, everybody in this room, John, I'm not paying them a whole bunch of money. As I've started building this business, y'all, I don't pay people. I just got to the point where I can pay people a little bit. For the last 10 years, there was people who simply believed in the jockey and not the horse. When things don't make sense, when I don't feel like I can do it anymore, when the money is looking funny, I lean on, like I said in my last video, knowing my personal whys. And today, I lean on my cheerleaders. Guys, I do food. John does mechanic stuff and carpentry stuff. And really, quite honestly, y'all, he does a little bit of daggone everything. But whatever it is you do, please let this video be an imploring for you to identify and lean into those people who are your cheerleaders, who build you up, who push you forward, who believe in you when you don't, and who you can allow yourself to receive from. My cheerleaders look like, again, these guys in this room helping me bring you this content. My brother John, my wife, my family and loved ones. I have sisters who are cheerleaders and so into me all the time. I have life coaches. I have business partners. I got employees. These are my cheerleaders. These are my team. Who are yours? John Boy, thank you, my friend.
Of course, brother.
I love you.
Love you, mean it.
Y'all, next time we'll be talking about faith as a motivator. Until then, remember, we are here always to educate you, excite you, and empower you. Thank you for tuning into this week of the Eating Chambers. Please, please, please like, subscribe, tell a friend, do all the things, and we'll see you guys next Monday.